So we have graph calculator on, and what we're looking to do is make a table of values. We're looking to input some data into a list. We're going to eventually be making what's called a stat plot. So in order to make our stat plot and to be able to enter our data, we need to go into the stat menu. So the stat menu in the 84s and 83s, the second button in the third column, excuse me. If we hit stat, it brings up this table. And we want to enter data, and we want to edit our list. So we're going to actually pick the first thing here. So we'll highlight number 1 and hit enter, which is in the bottom right of the calculator. And it should bring this up. Okay. To delete the things that are in a column, to delete an entire column's worth of things, we're going to go up, hit up to highlight the name of the column, and come down and hit this button that says clear. Clear is right below the arrow key. Hit clear and hit enter, and that'll clear out everything in that column. Okay. If you hit, so you're going to, again, so I'll do clear L1. So I'll slide over to L1, hit up, so I'm highlighted the name of L1. I'll hit clear and hit enter, and that clears everything. Do not highlight the name and hit delete. If you highlight the name and hit delete, you will delete the column. Deleting the column, the only way to get it back is to reset the memory of your calculator, which is not fun. If you had anything stored on your calculator, it gets erased in that process. You don't want to do that. Always hit clear, not delete. Okay. So once you've done that, you should have empty columns. Does everyone have empty columns right now? Yes. Okay. So from here, we're going to put anything you want as an x value that's going to graph on the x-axis. We're going to enter that data into list 1. So if we want to use our calculator to check our work from our hand-drawn plot, we'll type in the data from that table that we had in the fiber column because we graph fiber on the x-axis. So that'll be like 5, hit enter. 4, hit enter. 8, 2, 5, 2. Every time you enter a new number, hit enter to make sure it gets its own space. And then we'll put all the y's in L2. So hit right to go over to L2, and then enter that data one by one into L2. So 22, 9, and 11. And with any luck, you'll get data that looks like this if you're doing the same example I am. Okay, once you have your data entered, we want to draw a plot of this. We want to actually draw a scatter plot. In order to do that, we're going to go to the Stat Plot menu. The Stat Plot menu on your calculator. If you look, there's a label for it. It's right above the y equals. It's written on the 84s. It's written in blue. On the TA83, I believe it's written in yellow. It should be written in the same color as the second button on your calculator. That means to access it, we're going to hit the second button, and then the y equals button to get the Stat Plot menu. You may or may not have something highlighted here. The default, I believe, is off. Since we want to actually graph this, we want to turn this plot on. So on the blinking cursor, I'm going to hit enter, so I highlight the word on instead now. Type is what kind of stat plot. There are a bunch of different kinds your calculator can do. We want since we're making a scatter plot, we want the scatter plot option, which is the first one here. So make sure this is highlighted. If it's not highlighted, hit enter. These other options here, X list is saying which list do you want to be the X values. Well, we put all the X values in the list 1, so we want L1 for X list. And we purposely put all the Y values in list 2, which means we're doing all right. This last thing down here, mark, is just saying what the graph's going to look like when you make the graph. So like, what are each of the values going to look like? If you have the first one, all of the points it plots will be little squares. If you choose the second one, all the things you plot will be little plus signs. And this last one will be just little mini dots. I mean, this last one is totally up to you. Pick whatever one you want to look at the most. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go with plus signs, I think. Okay. Finally, we need to graph this. However, if you just hit graph, your calculator may or may not be able to see the values that you're looking at. To guarantee that you'll actually see all the values, we're going to hit the zoom button. And that brings up this this window. And there are a ton of different options. If you scroll down, we'll find one we actually want, though. If you scroll down, what's a good option you think we want to pick to graph a stat plot? Oh, we graph zoom stat is usually a good option if you're trying to make a scatter plot or a statistics plot. So we'll hit window, excuse me, we'll hit zoom, and we'll slide down to option 9, which is zoom stat. And from there, you'll hit enter. And with any luck, you should get a similar looking scatter plot to the one you graphed by hand.